Welcome back to Exclusively You podcast. Today, I am excited and honored to have Dr. Thema Bryant with us today. She is a renowned psychologist, author, professor, sacred artist, and minister. She earned her bachelor's and her doctorate at Duke University and received postdoctoral training at Harvard's Medical Center's Victims of Violence program. She's a tenor professor at Pepperdine University. In 2023, she was the president of American Psychological Association. She is the host of Homecoming Podcast, and she is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Welcome, Dr. Thema. How are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous. I am excited and honored to be with you and just want to congratulate you on this incredible podcast. And so happy of all of the work you're doing to help spread the knowledge so that we can live well.
Thank you. And I want to give a disclaimer if you don't mind me saying who you are to me.
Yes, say it.
Okay. So this is my fabulous mentor of like 13, 14 years. I still claim her. Yes, she's mine.
Yes. You're like, don't stop claiming me.
But I thought this was a perfect. We want to talk about grieving, divorce, and breakups, and I thought that you were the perfect person because not only are you a therapist, a psychologist, but I know that you have experienced it as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to sit down with you and have a little mini conversation about healing after divorce and finding our identity again.
Such an important topic. Very, very important. So I'm happy to talk about it.
Okay, so let's jump into the first question. How do you help people separate grieving the relationship from grieving the identity attached to it?
It is a very important distinction because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we are grieving the fantasy, the hope,
Mm. Yes.
what we desired it to be, which is different than what it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
Just this past week, I was meeting with a client and she was talking about her anger that, the marriage ended. But
Mm-hmm.
we have discussed how emotionally draining the relationship was. She was married to
Yeah.
someone who was struggling with alcoholism and who was not working to change it,
Mm-hmm.
someone who was unfaithful multiple times. And so her idea of like what she felt he took from her was actually what she never had. And
Mm.
so that was an important piece of her transforming her anger to actually say, thank goodness I'm out of there, right? Because
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
feel robbed if we're still in the fantasy of like,
Mm-hmm.
I was a wife, or I had this
Yeah.
picture and I had this like model of what I was trying to create and what I wanted to give my children. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the truth is the thing you were trying to build actually never existed. And
Yeah.
so we can grieve what we never had. We can
Yeah.
grieve what we had hoped for, but it was actually never realized. And that's so important for us to tell ourselves the truth,
Mm-hmm.
so that we don't continue to long for something that was a fantasy.
Yeah. So one of the things that I noticed too, a lot of people when they are getting divorced, or going through any type of struggles, um, it's embedded in them or they feel like they have to be married and like that's the thing to do or the Christian thing to do. And so when do you know like, okay, I don't there's no more fight in this. Like I can give up now. I can let it go. Like I don't have to keep fighting this. When do you know that?
Yes. And it's so important for each person to come to that for themselves
Mhm.
because your friends might be done with the person, your family might be done with the person, but it really has to be you so that it doesn't turn into my therapist told me to leave you, my cousin told me to leave you. It
Yeah.
has to, right? It has to be your decision. And for each of us, like that kind of final rock bottom is different. I've
Yeah.
heard people who have said, when it was just affecting me, it was fine. But when I saw it affecting my kids, then I had to go. I had another client who talked about walking down the street, and in the reflection of a store window, she caught her own reflection, and like
Yeah.
looking at herself, realized she was like a shell of who she was. And so for
Mm-hmm.
each of us, it's different. And I will say, especially with marriage, but in any relationship, you can feel like you've made a covenant or you've made a
Yeah.
promise. And so uh, I think it is a beautiful thing for us to try the various things we try to make it work. So,
Mm-hmm.
that the first hiccup, you weren't like, I'm out of here, right? And
Yeah.
so we have to release the shame for trying to make it work, right?
Work. Yeah.
So, and people tell us relationships are work. So at first you're trying to
Yeah.
work at it. So, initially you try to communicate and say, like, oh, okay, like I didn't think I had to say this, but like, let me say
Mhm.
it and see, like, is there any change? And we also know people are imperfect. So there could be some change, but then people could go back to what they had been doing. And
Yeah.
so, whether it's communication, some people try couples therapy. Of course, people of faith are praying about it. So you do
Mhm.
those various things until you feel at peace with, I know I have tried.
Yeah.
I know I have tried, and I give myself permission. And God also has freed me to live an abundant life. And I think
Yeah.
often in communities of faith, they hold up like loyalty, but not wellness, right? People
Mhm.
can be loyal
Yeah.
to something for decades, and both people are dying, and the children
Suffering. Yeah.
are dying. And
Mhm.
so, try your various efforts, and that's a beautiful thing for love, that we try. And then
Yeah.
if you don't see sustained change, giving ourselves permission to release.
Yeah. This is not with marriage, but even when I was dating, I feel
Yeah.
like you did that. Like you told me what was up, but
Yeah.
then you was like, you know what? You gonna see.
Right.
And
It's
I
up to
saw.
you. And I
Yeah.
think that's an important thing, because like we're the ones that have to live with it, right?
Yeah.
And so as long
Mhm.
as it's livable to you, then you will live with it. Anybody from the outside can have all kind of opinions. And
Yeah.
it becomes, when it is no longer bearable for you,
For
then,
you.
then you'll be
Yeah.
free.
You'll be free.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. How do you know if you're healing from a divorce or simply adapting to loneliness?
Well, I think both can, uh, they can be
Coexist?
interwoven, right? They
Mhm.
coexist, because, and I think maybe my variation on your question is, am I grieving this specific person, or am I grieving a person? Right?
Mm.
Do I just miss having somebody to hang out with, or
Yeah.
is it this specific person
Person.
that I'm missing?
Yeah.
And for some people, it can be both. That you
Mhm.
all had a good connection, and there are things you really loved, admired, appreciated about the person, and then a part of it can be, especially if things have taken a turn for the worse,
Mhm.
just miss having that stability, reliability in your life. Because as many people on social media would say, it's not fun out in these streets, right?
It's
So,
ghetto.
and that's a part of what keeps some people in
Yeah.
unhealthy situations, is the idea of, well, I'd rather this imperfect thing that I know than just being out there either alone or out there and afraid I'm going to end up with something worse.
Yeah.
So it is important that we uh, distinguish between the two. What do I miss about them? What do I
Yeah.
miss about our relationship? And let me say, you could miss some very sweet things.
Mhm.
You could have,
Yeah.
there could be some goodness there, because usually it's not that like someone's a
All
total
bad.
villain or that you're the
Mhm.
total villain. It's
Yeah.
just that the timing and personalities and our history, whatever it is, doesn't align. But there are some things we enjoyed about it.
Mhm.
But then, my late mother would say, like, tell yourself the whole story. Because
Yes.
sometimes I only remember the sweet things and then don't
Mhm.
remember the things that were heartbreaking, or I
Yeah.
only remember the things I'm mad about and don't remember the sweet moments.
Yeah. 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 I think a part of it too is also giving yourself permission to start over. I think a lot of people are scared to start over in
Yes.
general.
And let me say, if you're scared to start over, I actually think that's a healthy place to be, because
Mm.
you should take pause, right?
Yeah.
Some people don't leave until they have a backup plan, right? So then they jump
Mhm.
from their either marriage or their relationship to like somebody new, and never gave themselves space to grieve, to reflect, to grow, to what I like to call pull the wisdom out of the wounds. So
Yeah.
if you have just gotten out of it and you're like, I don't want to be bothered with anybody, that's okay. Like, give yourself that, because
Yes.
it will be a part of your healing when you start to realize after some time passes, well, maybe, right? Like, maybe I didn't mean to, like, I want to spend the rest of my life by myself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, time to grieve, time to reflect, time to grow, time to heal.
Mhm.
And as we would say, in due
Mhm.
season,
Yeah.
you may get hope again,
Yeah.
that love could be possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Pulling the wisdom from your wounds.
Yeah.
That's good. That's new. That's
Right?
good.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. What does healthy reinvention actually look like after loss?
Yes. So when it is healthy, it's authentic.
Mm.
So, what we don't want to do, what we sometimes do when we're younger or when we're insecure, is we try to figure out what people want and then we try to be that,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they like people who are like this. So, like, let me be this so I'll
Let me
be
do that.
chosen.
Yeah.
And, that's it's a lot of labor to be your representative. It's a lot of labor to perform. And also that kind of love is not healing, because then you'll always feel like, well, they chose me or they love me because of my performance, but like the
Mhm.
performance is not the truth of me. And so, to show up and be your authentic self and let who aligns with that
Mhm.
show up. And whoever
Mhm.
doesn't align with that, you can release. It's okay to trust that there are people in the world who align with you. So, for example, you and I are both mothers, and there are some
Mhm.
people who don't want to date people who are mothers. And that's,
Yeah.
that's my truth. So, like, we're not going to hide the fact that, like, you have a child and I
Well,
have two
yeah.
children, right? So if that doesn't align with you, then you're not for me. And that's
Yeah.
okay. That we're both strong people of faith, that we both love the arts and love dancing. And
Yes.
so the people who are for us will celebrate that about us. Uh,
Yes.
and so, yeah, be yourself and let anybody who doesn't like it, let them go.
Yeah. I love that. No performing and no masking.
That's right.
We don't
That's
need
right.
that. Why do some people become incredibly successful after divorce?
Well, you can uh, focus all your energy on your dreams and goals. The
Yeah.
reality is that making a relationship work or making a marriage work takes time, takes
Mhm.
energy, takes effort. Um, and so when you clear that from your plate, then the time you would have spent, especially if like you're in these like late night arguments or debates, right? It's like you could write, you could go to sleep, you could
Sleep.
dream another
Yes.
dream, you come up with a business plan. People
Yes.
have posted a lot on social media about women after a breakup going to get a master's degree.
Yes. All of
Yes.
it.
And I think a part of it can be one, you have more time and energy. And I
Mhm.
will also say sometimes people can feel like I lost time. And so
Mm.
there can be a sense of like urgency or motivation of like, I
Mhm.
spent so much time trying to fix something that I should have released. And now,
Yeah.
like, I want to make up for that. It's like kind of my gift back to myself.
Yeah.
Let me do what I'm on the planet to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think some of it though is ever like God was waiting for you to like the season with that person may have been over and God is like, okay, I need you to release them so I can give you what you've been praying for example.
I do believe that that can happen. Let me say, for some of us,
Mhm.
that we would never have walked away, that other
Mm,
people either had to walk away or they had to do something so egregious to make
yes.
us release it. And I believe that can be divine when they say, that rejection can be realignment. Sometimes our blessings, our purpose, our calling
Yeah.
can be held up. Also, let me say, when you're in an unhealthy relationship, it eats away at your self esteem,
It does. Yes.
right? So then you
Yes.
couldn't even show up in the fullness of who you are
Mhm.
because this relationship was breaking your spirit, right? It was
Yeah.
killing you. And so then when you get your confidence back and like we say, remember who you are, like
Yeah.
now, like now you're unstoppable of like, oh, wait
Yes.
a minute, I forgot. Like I forgot who I was. But
Mhm.
but now now I remember.
Yeah. Um, do you think a part of it too is like not only remembering who you are and living in that, but also giving yourself permission to create this new identity as well, like
Yeah.
not necessarily going all the way back to the old identity,
It is so important because we often use the word recovery, which
recovering.
people think like means going back. And let
Yeah,
me say, you will never be who you were. And that's
right.
okay, right? A part of
Yes.
that might be grief worthy because you may say, before this, I was trusting. Before this, I was open or I was innocent or like all of these things that there
Yeah.
are some things like I don't. Get a brand new version of. But let me say, on the other side of it, you can
Hmm.
operate with new gratitude and new clarity, right?
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate some things now that I didn't know were noteworthy before, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were important before because you don't know something is significant until it's missing.
Yeah.
So, right? So I show up with more gratitude and appreciation. I show up with more clarity about myself.
Hmm.
And let me say, in every relationship, there is not just like awareness about the other person, but learning you, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
because I think
Yeah.
if I come out of it and all I can do is see them clearly, right? I
Yes.
missed it. So
Yeah.
like I have to have like some heart to hearts with myself
Yeah.
about what I was thinking, what I was feeling, what I was doing, and how I want to show up differently.
Absolutely. That internal work. I think it's easy to blame or look outwards,
Yes.
but you really got to reflect in, like
Yeah.
to
And
heal
let
for
me
sure.
say that's a red flag for those who are out in the dating world. If you're dating and people are always just talking about how horrible all their exes were, and they have
That's
no
a
self
fact.
reflection, no insight about like their role in any of it. And I understand, people can end up in some like terrible situations, and you could have
Yeah.
encountered a terrible person. But like
Yeah.
if that's the pattern, that everybody is terrible and you're an angel. Oh, that's a flag. That's a
Yeah.
flag.
You like the common denominator is youth.
Yes,
Like, what are you talking
yes.
about?
Like, what is going on?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so achievements can become a way to avoid grief. So, what suggestions would you give someone who is highly successful but needing to heal from a breakup or a loss due to divorce?
So the sentence that I had to come home to is busy does not equal healed, right?
Hmm.
You can be
Yeah.
very busy. You can be very productive. You can be very fruitful. You can be booked and busy. And that can all be impressive on the outside. But where are you at night,
Yeah.
right? How is your sleep? How are you trying to medicate yourself, whether with food or with substances or with gossip or even with religion, how are
Yeah.
you distracting yourself from what you actually feel? And so, giving ourselves permission to slow down, to be present, to be honest. And I would say, with journaling, with therapy, with good friends and family, in your prayer life, to get to that, that whole piece of the truth will set us free.
Hmm.
So we don't want to lie to ourselves. So the lie looks like ending a relationship and saying, like, I don't care. It didn't matter to me, right? That's a lie.
Right.
That's a lie.
Yes. Yes.
So tell yourself the truth so you can tend to your broken heart
Yeah.
and be made whole.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How do people heal when they feel like they've not only disappointed themselves, but also their family, church, and community?
Yes. So the way we heal uh, is recognizing all of our imperfections. So we can have a false idea that like everyone else is winning because they're still in a relationship or because they're still married. And if you understand humanity and you have honest conversations with people, you recognize that people can have more years of marriage and still have no joy and still have no
True.
peace and still have no
Yes.
mental health. So to stop
Yes.
making that the measure, I think believing that the end of a relationship or the end of a
Mhm.
marriage means you're a failure, I think is
Mm.
just not true.
At
That
all.
sometimes walking away is winning. Sometimes
Yeah.
releasing is winning. That you are no longer where you weren't supposed to be. And so
Yeah.
congratulations.
I love that anyway that you were not where you're supposed to be, and congratulations. Because I also, this is my thought. I mean that sometimes we marry because we're rushing into it when that was never who God called us to be with.
Mhm.
That was never your soulmate.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. No, it can
So
be the pressure of, timing.
yeah.
Right? That sometimes people are looking at that clock, whether biological clock because they want to have children or just your age. When I was younger, I think like many of us, I had this like timeline of like when I'm 20, I'm gonna do this. When I'm 22, I'm gonna do this. And then I'm 24, I'm
Yes.
gonna have twins, and these are their names. We have like all these ridiculous things mapped out.
None of
And
it happened.
that's not how life works. So some
Yeah.
people make decisions based on their age and timeline
Mhm.
and not rooted in their wisdom or clarity,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so to give ourselves permission to not make a lifelong uh, commitment to what was not meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. But that would require being truthful with yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And let me say also for those that some of us um some of us were deceived, meaning
Mm.
you had every reason to believe it was like you would say like it
Yes.
wasn't just my age or it wasn't just the timeline. They said this or they were doing this and it was confirmed by this. So there could have been a lot of things that led you to believe this is right for me. And
Yeah.
then either people change because when life shows up, it can bring out different aspects of people. So, you may be with someone who went through a depression, who got laid off, who dealt with grief, who dealt with addiction, who dealt with any number of things. And then the way they showed up in the relationship dramatically changed.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so that can be a part of it as well.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
That was good. How do you become exclusively you again after years of being someone's spouse, partner, or even like their caretaker?
Yeah. I believe it is a daily practice of checking in with yourself, of
Mm.
saying, what did I do today that was freeing for me, that was liberating for me, that gave me joy? At what point today did I feel the most like I was my authentic self?
Yeah.
All right. And the opposite question, at what point today was I faking it? And what
Mm-hmm.
point today did it feel like I was out of alignment? What part of today, if I had a do-over, I either wouldn't have even gone there, or I wouldn't I wouldn't have said that, or I wouldn't have done
Yeah.
that. And so staying close to myself, to be honest with myself, allows me to course correct in real time. That I don't
Yeah.
have to wait years before I tell myself the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? To be a daily truth teller can help me to live in integrity with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Your motto, slogan, phrase that you say is going from surviving to thriving.
Mhm.
Do you say that? You still say
Yes,
that?
that's me. That's me. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So for someone that may be going through a divorce, how can they move from surviving this these feelings, this breakup to or living to thriving? Would you say is the same answer as the last or
No, it's different. Yeah, I mean, it's more
okay.
specific. So I'm going to say in the immediate aftermath, survival might include the legal process, right? Survival might include the financial decision making. And so, while you might prefer not to be in communication with them,
Yeah.
because of finance or because of children, the communication is still going to have to happen. And that's the
Yeah.
survival component. And some people use that to try to control or manipulate. Of like, if you choose one school, they want a different school. If you choose one thing, so now it's like you got to keep engaging
Yeah.
with them. And so that part of the process, is important, when I'm working with people and it's like a long drawn out financial piece or a child piece. Like you have to show up for that because it's important decision making.
Yeah.
But it's also to say, I don't want to be stuck in that. So it's like, yes, prepared for mediation or prepared for court, but like, what did
Yeah.
you do for you today? Like, could you
Yeah.
meet up with a friend for brunch? And when you meet up with them, can you not make it the center of conversation every
Conversation.
time?
That's good.
Right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
initially, sure. And like, I thank God for my people who I could like talk through it with. But there are some people who get stuck and stagnant where it has been years and all they can do is talk about how terrible that person was. And it's time to start living, to start
Yeah.
thriving, to create the life that you want to live.
Yeah. That's good. It's funny you said I appreciate all the people I could talk to because I remember when you told me about it at church. I was like, okay, so what we doing? Are we sad or are we celebrating? We throwing a party or what? You was like, no, I'm good. I already handled. I already grieved. I'm good. Like
Yeah.
I'm good. We happy. We can celebrate.
Yes.
Okay, let's do this divorce party. Let's go.
And that's a beautiful thing you modeled, which is checking in with the person, right?
Yeah.
Because some people are in a place of devastation, some people are
Hmm.
angry, some people feel relieved, and some people a combination of those. And
Yeah.
so, if we're a family member or a friend who is going through, like, don't assume, ask them,
Don't.
where
Yeah.
they are, how they're feeling, and how you can best support them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's play a little game. I know
Yes.
we're out of time, so a quick game.
Yes.
Okay, so it's this or that.
Mhm.
So the first one is peace or closure.
Peace
I know. Forgive or forget.
or forget. Yeah.
Mhm. Forgive or forget.
Uh,
Or do you feel like you
Forgive.
can't
You're not
do
going to forget. Forgive. You're not
oh,
going to forget.
okay. Being understood or being respected.
Ah, respect.
Um rediscover the old you or create a new you.
Combo, but don't get
Okay.
stuck in the past. Then create the new.
Okay.
Mhm.
Chemistry or consistency.
Consistency.
Yes.
Because look,
Someone who
it could be
challenges.
fiery and then that fire goes out.
True. Someone who challenges you or someone who comforts you.
Comfort. Some people are full-time debaters. I don't have time for that.
Draining.
Yes, just, yes, too much.
Shared faith, like y'all have the same faith, or shared ambition.
Shared faith, because somebody could be very ambition oriented, but both people don't have to be.
Yeah.
I like, some people want that. I know some people
Yeah.
want, like, what do they call it? The dream team or whatever, that you're both.
Power couple.
Right, thank you. The power couple. So if that's what's important to you, then it would be shared ambition, because
Hmm.
some people are frustrated if their person is not trying to like reach to the highest heights. So
Yeah.
with the shared faith, I'm talking about like kind of values and character and
Morals.
that
Yeah.
integrity things are important. But for both of those, I'm going to say know yourself and be honest with yourself. Because if you're not a person of faith and you're like, I just need the Benjamins, then be honest.
Just give me the money. Okay.
Yes, right?
Um, Success or freedom?
Freedom.
Okay. Shared passwords or keep your privacy?
Shared.
You share passwords?
Well, let me say, I was speaking
In general?
I was speaking in general. I'm a therapist,
Okay.
so I can't share my password because then you will see all my clients. So what I
Oh,
think,
true.
right,
True.
so more what my intention with that is, like, we shouldn't operate in secrecy and deception. But no,
Okay.
and let me say for all my clients who are watching, no, I do not share your information.
Well, no, more like Instagram or like TikTok. Would you share those
Oh,
passwords?
yeah, if not somebody I met last week, but if we're in a committed relationship, I don't have
Mhm.
any. There's, yeah, they could see the look. All the people DMing me asking for like free advice.
Now, okay. Love at first sight or love that grows over time?
Love that grows over time. Let me say, in terms of the last one, you should be attracted to the person, but I have also seen where people grew on somebody, where initially you might have just
Mhm.
been like, hey, how you doing, and then as you spent time together they became more attractive to you. So the attraction should grow. If you're still not attracted to them, then like that's not really going to work. But
Yeah.
you may
Cut
say
it.
it wasn't fireworks when I saw them, but
Yeah.
like because of the person they are, like
Mhm.
now I am drawn to them.
Yeah. You see that a lot on social media, and people be like, "Oh, you're embarrassing your wife or you're embarrassing your husband," but you're saying that that could be normal. That could be
Well,
okay.
I let me do say, because I have seen some of what you're talking about, and I
Okay.
think it can be problematic to keep saying that, because
Mm.
I have seen it where it is shaming or humiliating to say they not even my type. I
Yeah.
don't like them, but because they, got a good prayer life, I picked them. It's like that doesn't feel good. So
Right.
I would say, even if it evolved over time, in my
Mhm.
storytelling of it, I would emphasize where it is now, which is like when they enter the room, my heart is like, so
Yeah.
sometimes people are really, I'm gonna say, dishonoring their partner in the way they tell that
Mhm.
story, and that's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you
Um,
for having me.
yes, I will forever appreciate you. You ain't know how I feel. Like, yeah.
I
But give
love
me your
you.
flowers.
I'm proud of you. You are doing
Thank
the
you.
thing. You are multi-gifted, and
Thank you.
I am celebrating all that you are. And it doth not yet appear what you shall be.
Amen. I had a good
Amen.
role model, so thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to share any of your socials with the people?
Yeah, so it's Dr. Thema is my website, DrThema, and I'm Dr. Thema on Instagram and TikTok. And my podcast is the Homecoming Podcast. It's on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, And my most recent book is Matters of the Heart.
And it's super good, y'all. Get the book.
Thank
Get
you.
the book.
Yay.
Thank y'all for tuning in. There's a new episode on YouTube every Friday at 6 p.m. and on Apple, iHeartRadio, and Spotify on Sundays at 6 p.m. Until next week, y'all have a good one.